Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and one moment. Let's see. Hello? Check. One moment. Perfect.
Start. Let's see. Hello. Oh, perfect. There we go. Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show, where we don't sound like a chipmunk. Everyone, hey, how you doing? Welcome into the program. I hope that you're having a wonderful day today and you are ready for some Computer America. And yesterday, as promised, because that segment took up the entire hour, well, hey, we are going to instead do computer and technology news. And we highly recommend that you go back and check that out. That entire segment yesterday was dedicated to identifying fake news, and false information, which, you know, hey, I think in a time where so much information is flying around for such an unknown topic like the coronavirus, and really just technology in general, so many things come out that are completely new and innovative that's, hey, being able to track down good, useful information is probably the best thing you can do to arm yourself. So with that being said, everyone, welcome to the Computer America Show. You can check us out at computeramerica.com, anywhere on social media, at Computer America. We should pop right up, be that Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're probably on it. And more, of course, at our website. We should have a review going up, I think, probably tomorrow about a new monitor. If you are interested in news, reviews, or anything like that, computeramerica.com, definitely check it out. So with that being said, everyone, let's go ahead and why don't we just get started with computer and technology news, because we have a lot of stories and hey, they keep piling up. And I think we're hey, you know what? We're gonna have fun with it. So here we go. So everyone, let's go ahead and start with some of the hardware announcements, and this is this is going to be very exciting because hey, hardware, it's bread and butter. So let's talk about Intel first. Why not? Start with some Intel. We haven't had many, really good stories concerning Intel lately. For them, it just seems like the most Intel can dominate the headlines with is, this vulnerability, that vulnerability. But instead, today, we do have something very, very cool. Intel's neuromorphic chip learns to smell 10 hazardous chemicals. And it's pretty cool because obviously if the chip can, that means that, hey, you don't have to. They said that of all this, and this is, by the way, from Engadget, and this is from Engadget, Ms. Christine Fisher, saying that of all the senses, scent is, well, a really difficult one to teach a robot. And by robot, I mean AI. But that doesn't stop researchers from trying. Most recently, researchers from Intel and Cornell University trained a neuromorphic chip neuromorphic, to learn and recognize the scents of 10 hazardous chemicals. In the future, the tech might be able to be used as an electronic nose and in robots to detect weapons, explosives, narcotics, and even diseases. Which, hey, that's anything that we currently use, I guess, sniffing dogs for. If we could make this very, very cheap and affordable and be able to put them into sensors, like the immediate thing in my head is the airport, where you go there and you have to put your hands above your head and some weird 3D scanner takes an image of you, and they already have air sensors in there that will tell if you've been around explosives. And I think that if they could do that, much cheaper and much more effectively, hey, one day we might be able to get rid of the whole machine and people could just walk through. Now, using Intel's Loihi, a neuromorphic chip, the team designed an algorithm based on the brain's olfactory circuit. Olfactory, of course, being your sense of smell. When you take a whiff of something, those stimulate the olfactory cells in your nose. Those cells send signals to your brain, which then fire off electrical pulses. That's why you can tell the difference between a rose and a steaming bag of garbage. They activate different parts of your brain. They said that, now with the chip, they're able to learn each odor with just a single sample. And that's impressive because they have other deep learning techniques that can require 3,000 times more training samples to reach the same level of accuracy. So just think about that. One sample, and it has, I guess, kind of like a blueprint or an imprint of what that sense is. Of course, to a robot, it's not going to know that I'm smelling a rose, but at the same time, the robot is going to know this sense activates these parts of my system, and therefore I associate that with a rose. Pretty simple. And again, it cuts down on training time. 3,000 before, only one now. They said that their work profiled in Nature Machine Intelligence today is a prime example of contemporary research taking place at the crossroads of neuroscience and artificial intelligence. Intel and Cornell University are not alone. Of course, the Google Brain team has been working with perfumers. As if you thought nothing were sacred from technology. They said that Google's been working with perfumers to link scent molecules with perceived smell. Russian researchers are using AI to sniff out a deadly gas mixture, and researchers have tried to recreate the smell of an extinct flower. There you go. And now, all that being said, they have a big quote here, but we're just going to end it with, if we can understand how the brain smells, then we can change how we design AI. And hey, maybe robots can, learn to smell too. And honestly, to put, kind of like a funny spin on it, but if you can teach an artificial intelligence, if you can teach, electronics to be able to detect smells, then you could possibly get them to emit the smells at the same time. So let's say that you are filming something with a camera, and of course you can capture sound, you can capture sight, you can capture, all these different things. But one of the things that you've never been able to capture before, and depending on if you want to or not, you'd be able to capture, the smell. So if, one day smell-o-vision may be in your homes, and hey, it could be here faster than you know it. So that's the first story, potential smell-o-vision. Quote me on it. Now, we're going to stick to hardware here in the first part, and we have a lot of different, really cool hardware things going on that obviously, a lot of the hype for a lot of these announcements has just been completely dominated with coronavirus. So this may be the first time that you're hearing about them, and hey, I know that a few of these, first time I've definitely heard about them. So this actually came out yesterday, and this is from John Fingus from Engadget, saying that Microsoft has unveiled a ton of Xbox Series X. By the way, horrible name. Horrible name for the Xbox Series X, but I digress. They announced some hardware details. They said that, Microsoft has published a deep dive into the console specs, including just what the company hopes to achieve with the technology. They said that they are running a semi-custom AMD Zen 2 processor running 8 cores fixed at 3.8 gigahertz. And, a little bit lower if they're doing something called SMT in use. So, oh, and by the way, they have a whole right up here, but we're going to stick with the Engadget one. So yeah, and they said with 1 core set aside for basic system functions, the Xbox will have 16 gigabytes of RAM, GDDR6, and although just 10 gigs of of that will have to have the full. 16 gigabytes of GDDR RAM, although 10 gigs of that RAM of the 16 will have the full 560 gigabits per second bandwidth that games will be able to use for a GPU friendly task. The other 6 will run at a lower frequency, and they're reserved for less demanding gaming tasks, and 2.5 gigs for the operating system. So they're getting pretty technical with this. They're getting pretty in depth with what this is going to be capable of. The GPU will be no small achievements. They said that it was going to be capable of 12 teraflops. That used to be something that was reserved for like high-end graphics cards like just a couple of years ago. And now that Microsoft is promising that with a gaming console, very, very impressive because, kind of considering these systems are going to be in a lot of people's hands and they're going to be relatively cheap compared to, a similar cost of a PC. Very impressive. They said that, let's see. So let's see. So something called compute units. Don't even know what that is. A clock rate of 1.825 gigahertz. That may not mean much to you in abstract, and it sure as heck doesn't to me. But Microsoft claims that both much higher visual detail and higher frame rates, saying that it's aiming for 4K 60 frames per second and support for 120 frames per second. A couple of things here. So every time a gaming company, either hardware, software, or Stadia or what have you, anytime anyone promises you 4K 60 frames per second, man, do they just keep falling short. No one seems to be able to actually support that level of fidelity. And the fact that they might be aiming for 120 frames per second, I wish them I wish them the best. I hope that they can do it. I'm not holding my breath that it's actually going to be able to support those. They said that, as an example, you can play an optimized version of Gears of War 5 at the PC version's ultra spec detail settings at more than 100 frames per second, with features that even high-end gaming rigs can't manage, like contact shadows and self-shadow lighting. Hardware boosted ray tracing is also an option, although it's not quite clear how many games will make use of the advanced lighting technique. We've talked about ray tracing in the past. That is how really our correspondent, Darish Derekshani, claims that a lot of these visual improvements are going to happen. Is that real-time ray tracing, whenever there's a light source, let's say there's an explosion, or if there's a reflection in something, whenever there's a light source, it will be able to project those in real time. It will make everything, including your gameplay, look very cinematic. Whether or not games actually take advantage of that, they will eventually, but it's not going to be a priority, I think, at the moment, because, hey, people just don't have ray tracing capable systems. Maybe the Xbox Series X will change that. Let's see. So storage, they have a 1 terabyte NVMe based SSD, which means very, very fast. Saying that, let's see, they also take advantage of the Xbox Velocity architecture to make 100 gigabytes of in-game content immediately accessible. You could enable gigantic open world games, for example, and it also helps speed up the quick resume feature that lets you jump between multiple games. And while that 1 terabyte built in might not be a lot, Microsoft is promising support for a 1 terabyte expansion card that delivers the same performance as the internal drive. I wonder. And of course, here they also list the USB 3.2, which for support for slower external hard drives. So it's something. Here's something interesting. 4K wow, 4K Blu-ray disc drive, though it's clear optical media isn't the focus. So yeah, I don't know how many games are actually going to be purchased on Blu-ray and played on Blu-ray, but hey, if you have Blu-ray videos that you want to watch, the system, of course, caters to that just a little bit. Let's see. So some of the other questions, they said that Microsoft always showing the system upright, it's possible to lay the Series X on its side. The massive vapor chamber cooling and primary fan work in either orientation. Most Xboxes usually run either vertical or horizontal. Let's see. So anything else? HDMI 2.1 output. No optical audio output, so of course speakers, hey, you could be in trouble. But yeah, there you go. So Microsoft should be releasing the Xbox console later this year, but I did find it very cool that they, really dug into the hardware specs of what makes this thing tick. And, it looks impressive for a video game console. Very, very impressive. I am looking forward to some of the benchmarks that are not published by Microsoft and hopefully by other people. But there you go. So, okay, so let's see. Sticking with hardware, let's not do that one. Hardware, okay, AMD. We can't leave them out because we talked about Intel. Now it's time to talk about AMD. And check this one out. AMD's efficient Ryzen 9 CPUs target the Intel's gaming laptop crown, which is what you want. You want that, you want that competition. I wish it was more than just two, but you want that competition to show that AMD and Intel are actually competing and trying to out-innovate one another. Because when they do that, hey, who wins but the consumer? They said that AMD is winning over the workstation market. Intel still dominates laptop gaming. However, AMD aims to change that with the Ryzen 9 4900HS and H Zen 2 mobile processors. They said that they pack 8 cores, 16 threads, which, core and thread has always been something that AMD, has been very, very good at. Let's see. So along with 8 cores of integrated Vega graphics and run at overclock speeds of up to 4.4 gigahertz, which is very impressive. That's actually very, very fast for a laptop. And best of all, the 7nm 4900HS chip consumes about 35 watts of power, boosting battery life and entertainment apps. I will say this though, folks. If you are in the market for a new laptop, if you're thinking, I'm going to get a gaming laptop, this is going to be great, everything's getting so power efficient, and, on the box, they may say get up to like 6 hours of gaming time in. That's not really how gaming laptops work. They can claim and boast, and they can say battery is going to last X amount of time. I've never ran across a gaming laptop that if you're playing something on high graphics, which all of this hardware would lead you to believe that you'd be able to do, you're not getting more than like 45 to like an hour of high-end gaming. So yeah, you're still going to be attached to the wall, but it's something, and hey, at least you'll be able to do it, and hopefully you can do it without burning your chair. So, who knows? They also mentioned that the latest H series chips go a bit beyond what we've seen from the traditional AMD 8-core. They said that speed stopping at 4.4 gigahertz, as we said, base clocks up to 3.3 gigahertz. Let's see, so with the 7nm technology, by the way, I think Intel is still on 14, I think. 14, so yeah, much, much bigger. But then again, when you're talking about nanometers, doesn't really matter. Let's see, so I take that back. It does matter, but yeah, they're working on it. So they said that they have the integrated graphics performance have been boosted by about 60% per core, and the Ryzen 9 4900 and 4900HS chips have 8 cores, while the 4800H has 7 cores, and the 4600 has 6 cores. So all different tiers. And of course, if you go to the article, which will be in the show notes, you can see some of the diagrams right there. So let's go ahead, skip down to the bottom, and just say that AMD's platform control also makes the processor more efficient at distributing loads between the discrete and the discrete graphics and the processor. As a result, notebooks running AMD's 400 H series chips will be able to do up to 10 hours of video playback and let you game for longer too. Notice video playback as in, let's say, watching Netflix, 10 hours just watching a video, and I guarantee you, actually playing video games, just a couple of hours. So sometime spring 2020 is when they should be announced. But of course, with the problems that the world has been having, I'm expecting a lot of these to, you just can't grab a headline. You just can't compete with what's happening with the coronavirus. So I think a lot of these companies will be pushing off their product releases, at least for the coming months. So who knows when it will actually be out. Let's see. So next story. Let's go ahead. That was story number 3. Story number 4. Sticking with the hardware. Check this one out. Microsoft. Although I guess it's hardware / operating system. Microsoft hits its goal of 1 billion devices running Windows 10. And there you go. Congratulations. It's, let's see, actually, I have something just for this. Microsoft, 1 billion devices. Turn that down just a little bit. There you go. So, and the crowd goes wild. Microsoft's original milestone has been reached, and, all right, crowd. Enough of that. Okay, so they've finally reached their goal, and, I'm sure that they're very happy about it, but I think it took them a little bit longer than they anticipated. But really, I mean, the fact that they could do it at all, though, a billion different devices running the same operating system, I'm sure that they are very, very proud of that. The number includes PCs, laptops, Xbox One consoles, and HoloLens devices running Microsoft's latest operating system. They said that it means Microsoft has now hit its original goal of 1 billion devices running Windows 10. Albeit 2 years later than it originally expected, Microsoft is also revealing that it now has 17.8 million Windows Insider testers. What that means is that you have gone into your settings, you have agreed to send them diagnostic information on what you do on your computer, and you are getting the you're essentially being a beta tester for Microsoft. So yeah, their beta program is massive with 17 million users. Microsoft had been planning to get Windows 10 running on 1 billion devices within 3 years of its release, but after the Windows Phone failed to challenge the iOS and Android, well, they extended the timeline. The milestone comes less than 5 years after the original release and less than 6 months after they announced that they hit 900 million devices. They said that Windows 10 is now the only operating system at the heart of 80,000 models and configurations of different laptops and 2-in-1s from over 1,000 different manufacturers. Man, that is just so, it's impressive. Let's just leave it at that. The new billion figure also comes just a couple of months after support ended for Windows 10. It's clear that Windows 7 upgrades from businesses have helped Microsoft achieve 1 billion Windows 10 active users, and the company cited that these upgrades for stronger Windows performance in its earnings back in January. So there you go. These upgrades also help push the PC market to its first year of growth since 2011 as businesses and consumers look for new machines. So pretty impressive. 1 billion different devices, and even on top of that, it's also impressive that a singular company, like Microsoft, even one as big as Microsoft, is able to keep up with the customer's support of 1 billion different devices every single day. That is truly, truly amazing. Let's see. I had a story here that I really want to do. It definitely involved hardware. Okay. So let's see. I have the. Let's see. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do this one. Apple. This is hardware related. Apple accidentally, in quotes, just in quotes, accidentally listed 4 new iPad Pro models on its website. Did they though? They've since been removed, but not before they were screenshotted. And, it's so weird how these leaks are perfectly timed about a month before they actually announce them to the world. Be it an iPhone left at a bar, be it a product details listed on a website that they weren't supposed to be up on, be it any of these ways that they get a quote unquote leak out there. But hey, you know what? We're going to bite and we're going to go ahead and talk about this. An iPad Pro refresh could be imminent if what appears to be accidental leaks on Apple's part is any indication. Although, I've never worked for a large corporation such as Google or Apple or things like that, but before things go live on large programs, I'm pretty sure they have to be greenlit by a couple of different people. One person is usually not the end all be all of what goes up on a website as big as, let's say, Apple. Because obviously, if one person went rogue and decided to put up inappropriate material, that would be horrible for such a, for a $1 trillion company. But hey, if you just have 1 or 2 people between each other and the website, hey, this kind of thing just doesn't happen. But here we are. So one of the screenshots that they have here, they have a couple of different models. And if you're interested, they listed an 11-inch iPad Pro, an 11-inch iPad Pro with, I guess, cellular access. So one's Wi-Fi, one's cell. So 11-inch Wi-Fi, 11-inch cell, 12.9-inch Wi-Fi, and 12.9-inch cell. And they have different model numbers. They have the different model numbers here. But there you go. And notably, 2 of the models match recent filings that the company made with the Eurasian Economic Commission. And in the past, new database listings with the ECC have typically foreshadowed new releases from Apple. Man, journalists just don't want to wait for anything. They really want to dig in there and just, get the first scoop immediately. So with that being said, they said that the tablets will feature a triple lens main camera array with 3D sensing capabilities. Frequent Apple leaker Sony Dixon corroborated this rumor partway through last year when he shared what he claimed was a final design mock-up of the new 11-inch iPad Pro. However, the most exciting chance might not have anything to do with the new hardware. They announced that Apple is preparing to start producing a new keyboard accessory with a built-in trackpad, suggesting that the iPad OS 14 will feature a more robust mouse support system. So with that being said, the iPad Pro may finally live up to its billing as a laptop replacement. Potentially. That'd be interesting. Now, the question becomes whether Apple will announce the new iPad Pro anytime soon. Obviously, they said that, these things could be announced sometime in early 2020, first half of 2020. But again, with the virus, no one wants to be the one to announce a product that, just let's face it, no one's going to be able to afford because everyone's taking a compulsory 2-month vacation. Or they don't want it to be lost in the headlines. So, but if you've been looking at a new iPad, maybe you want to hold off on your purchase just a couple more months and get the latest and greatest one. So there's that, and I think let's see. So next one's going to be about hardware. Let's see. I wanted to talk. Oh, and let's go ahead and yeah, we're good. Man, I had one more story that I could have sworn. Okay. Well, I can't find the story I wanted to. So instead, let's talk about Steam real quick. Steam, if you don't know it, is a massive, 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 massive way to play video games. I mean, for a long time there, if you've been into video games, they were the only place to, I guess, kind of get your video games. Well, hey, thanks to, I think, in part, the coronavirus and sending kids home from school, sending people home from work, sending everyone to quarantine, you are now looking at, well, a weird kind of aligning of the stars that left 20 million people concurrently playing Steam at the exact same time. That's the first time they've ever done that. They said, well, and by the way, they actually peaked at 19,728,027 people. So just a couple 100,000 shy of the 20 million people, but still very impressive. They said that the service around 7 a.m. Saturday morning, and that is, of course, a brand new record for the service. The previous concurrent user record for Steam was approximately 18,800,000 as of February 2020, making the new record jump about 1 million different users. Unsurprisingly, this also means that some of Steam's most popular games have set new concurrent player records. I think that Valve's Counter-Strike Global Offensive peaked at just about 1 million players, which is crazy because if you don't know anything about Counter-Strike Global Offensive, it's a game that admittedly has had a few updates and graphic updates, but at the same time, it's a game that came out like 16 years ago or something like that, 15, 16 years ago. It's an old game, but still massively popular. Dota 2 peaked at about 700,000, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds at about 530,000, with Rainbow Six Siege and Grand Theft Auto Online being just after that. So there you go. It's it's interesting. So good job on Steam. And if their previous record was set in February of 2020 and now in March 2020, they've just set another one by another billion. I can only imagine that more and more people are, well, hey, more people are playing video games. That's the only thing you can draw from that. It's a steady incline. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, okay, so we've moved on from hardware, started talking about some software, and this is one that I definitely want to tell you about. It's whenever a tragedy happens, there are a lot of good people that will, do very, very good things. There will be people out there that will try to help. They will donate their time, energy, effort. They will put their skills to use to, for the betterment of humanity. And that's great. That's lovely. You want to see that, and it happens every single day. You may not hear about it, but it does. And then there's other people that when a huge tragedy such as, hey, a global pandemic happens, what do? They take to their skills and they say, I'm going to create a coronavirus tracking app, sounds okay so far, that locks up your Android phone for ransom. Yes, the virus tracking app is a virus onto itself. Not good. So a malicious Android app that supposedly helps track cases of the coronavirus actually locks users' phones and demands a ransom in order to restore access. There you go. Saying that a password key has since been published, and you can see the follow-up story, which we'll go ahead and include in the show notes. But actually, you know what? It just seems to be like almost the exact same story. So they said that they've successfully obtained the password for the victims of the COVID lock Android ransomware. And by the way, the unlock token being 486-508-3501, if you want to check that out. They said that they recently discovered the ransomware performs a screen lock attack by forcing a change in the password required to unlock a phone, according to DNS threat intelligent domain tools featured in a blog post. And a certain Reddit user responded to SC's media's previous coverage of the app and opened a thread revealing that they downloaded the APK and were able to decompile it without even installing it in order to find the password needed to unlock the phones. Essentially, they found the source code, they were able to make it into the fully fledged program with full permissions, and then they were able to go into the program and essentially pull out the password. Victims of the app are given a 48-hour deadline to pay a $100 ransom in Bitcoin. So to ratchet up the stakes, the ransomware program also threatens to erase one's contacts, photos, videos, and memory, as well as leak the victim's social media accounts. Note, your GPS is watched and your location is known. If you try anything stupid, your phone will be automatically erased. That's what the ransomware note said. Yeah, they played hardball with this, which is quite awful. That, you know, people are trying to find, as we said, good, useful information on the virus and what happens. They could have accidentally installed malware on their Android devices. They said that the malicious app, which they say offers stats on the COVID-19 pandemic and a heat map of the outbreak spot, was found available for download at the malicious domain. And we're not going to put it because, hey, why bother? So they said that they published a technical blog post, and, well, in the search, they noted that the domain's SSL certificate links to a second domain, which is linked to a Moroccan individual and also serves the ransomware app. There you go. Yeah, and, you know, it turns out that this is actually from someone who is known for having previous spam campaigns as well. So, you know, this person is this person's a piece of crap. There's no other way to put it. And looks like they are a career piece of crap. So there you go. Let's see. So they further analyzed, reveals that the malware comes with a persistence mechanism for surviving reboots and request access to permission, so it can operate with system administrative privileges and take close to full control of the device. In a tricky maneuver, the app says that the permission is needed to enable accessibility mode in order to monitor the virus stats and receive alerts of any patients near the user's location. So if you're wondering how in the world are people giving this app, which should just give you a heat map and, you know, just kind of useful statistics that could be pulled from any website, how are people giving permission to do all this? It says that they need the permission in case, again, any COVID-19 patients are discovered near the user, I guess to warn them to some extent. Let's see, so they also were able to monitor the transactions of the Bitcoin wallet because of the way Bitcoin works. This is the good news. As of March 15th, when this was found, and by the way, again, you know, hopefully no one pays this because now there's an actual password out there to unlock your device. And on top of that, this was definitely taken down from the Google App Store. But they said that no victims have paid the ransom. That's perfect. So indeed, research firms across the cyber industry have been reporting surges in cyber scam leveraging fears surrounding the coronavirus. They said that researchers recently discovered a weaponized coronavirus map app that infects victims with a variant of the information stealing Azure alt malware. So there you go. And yeah, that's about it for that one. But there is there's an unlock token that has been published. If you somehow find yourself getting this, I hope that you don't. But if you do, unlock your phone, don't pay the ransom. And luckily, no one in the world has. So again, that's a good thing. Very, very good thing. I think the next story, and this one should be of no surprise, we've been having to do something called social distancing. That's where I think some of us were practicing this before, but you really don't get within 3 feet of another living person. Well, what is an activity that, well, you need to be within 3 feet of people? And one of those is, of course, watching the latest movies. What are movies supposed to do? Check this one out. This is actually very interesting. Universal has come up with a solution, and it's something that everyone has been asking for a long time. Universal is releasing movies in theaters and at home on the same day. They said that with theaters closed due to coronavirus, the shift is happening. This has been something that this is something that people have been asking for such a long time. And of course, they said that this will be the end of movie theaters. They said that this will be, this will fundamentally change how cinema works. But at the same time, hey, we don't have any other option. They can delay all of the movies until everyone feels safe to come out of their homes, or they can release them to people's homes. Here we go. So movie studios have spent years considering releasing their films for home viewing at the same time that they're in theaters, but have usually withdrawn from those plans based on complaints by the theater chains. Now, with people staying at home and theaters closing due to coronavirus pandemic, Universal Pictures will be the first to try the scheme by offering movies that are currently in theaters for home rental at the price of $20 for a 48-hour viewing window. And, I was wondering how they were going to do this. Obviously, it has to be more expensive than a singular movie ticket. But at the same time, they are cutting out the commission that the movie theater would, of course, make. Although, as I understand it, the commission that the movie theater actually makes is pretty darn small. They make their money off popcorn. That is the way of things. But $20, if you're an individual, obviously you will be paying, 2-3 times as much by watching it at home as you would going into a theater. But if your theaters are closed, you have no option, and hey, you get to watch it from the comfort of your home. The first movies offered will start popping up on Friday, with The Hunt, Invisible Man, and Emma available internationally via a wide variety of the most popular on-demand services. It appears that Vudu is on the list, and we'd assume that other big names like iTunes and Amazon Video will also participate. Let's see. So the first movie to premiere under the new setup will be Trolls World Tour. April 20th. In a statement, NBC Universal, they said that rather than delaying the films or releasing them into a challenged distribution landscape, we wanted to provide an option for people to view these titles in the home that is both accessible and affordable. We hope and believe that people will still go to the movies and theaters where available, but we understand that people in different areas, well, that's becoming less and less possible. So they said that NBC Universal, which is owned by Comcast, which can sell the movies via cable boxes unlike most of their competitors. And they said that with box office returns dropping off right now, others will have to consider following their lead. So far, Disney has pushed up their release of Frozen 2. Disney even said that with all the kids getting out of school, Frozen 2 has been released on Disney+. So, yay kids, sorry parents, by a couple of months, and also released the latest Star Wars flick for video on demand purchase a few days early, and this windowless release schedule could quickly become the new normal, even if it's not Netflix that's going to make it happen. So there you go. And let's see, so just real quick, there's one update here to the bottom of the story. While there haven't been any other announcements about the movies still in theaters, they have moved up the home release of Birds of Prey, although I think that was renamed to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, to March 24th, along with the new Guy Ritchie film, The Gentleman. So there you go. In-home movies, $20. Would you do it? I don't know. I don't think it's a very tough sell, but and I guess if you invite the neighbors over, your spouse, a couple of kids, your neighbor, per capita, hey, could be cheaper, but if it's just you, definitely more expensive, but hey, at least it's an option. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about, let's see, that was story number 8, I believe. Yeah, story number 8, story number 9. This one received so much attention, and I mean, like, I get it. It's very altruistic, and I am, hey, Minecraft. It's a very popular game. Check this one out. This is actually from the blog post itself. It happened about a day ago, and they said that Reporters Without Borders, the uncensored Minecraft library, is going to fundamentally undermine government censorship of the press. Minecraft, yeah, of all, think of this like a Trojan horse where you buy a video game, but then just so much more can come from it. They said that Minecraft, the best-selling single game of all time, may be at the forefront of a clever new method to deliver banned media to those behind oppressive government firewalls, saying that when Reporters Without Borders came up with the idea to build an uncensored Minecraft library, they opened up a new venue allowing citizens to see news which they would otherwise not be able to. And on top of that, adding the ability for users to add to it themselves provides for a broad, open source, uncensored news platform that foreign governments are going to find difficult to block. Because being able to run, Minecraft on your computer, pretty darn easy. You can, of course, I think 300 million accounts in China already have Minecraft. And yeah, you can download, play those offline. No one has to know that you're actually playing it. And you can download the unlicensed library right there. The Chinese government could theoretically ban Minecraft in the country, but the company itself, which is owned by Microsoft, isn't creating or even promoting the unlicensed library. It's highly unlikely that Microsoft would prevent a popular NGO. And, well, Microsoft's not going to prevent this. The Chinese government probably is going to try to ban one of the most popular, or the most popular video game out there. I don't know. It's a very small part, but at the same time could accomplish a lot. They said that less populous countries with less pull in the business world have an even smaller chance of preventing their citizens' access to the library. It doesn't take much to download a map, and servers can be run on personal PCs. The only way to truly prevent access is to limit access to the internet, which in itself would be detrimental to a society. So, hey, it's using a video game to circumvent oppressive governments. I never thought I'd see the day. Minecraft has turned into something that it's not just the best-selling video game. Really, a whole generation has grown up on Minecraft. They have learned on Minecraft. It has taught so much more than any other video game, I would say. And it's just so impressive to see what they can actually do. And by the way, they created a very nice building for Minecraft. If you're a fan of Minecraft buildings, this is a really, really cool build, and you should check that out. So it's free. You can join the Discord. You can download it yourself. But check that out. It's very, very cool. Okay, this one real quick, and yeah, let's just go ahead and duplicate that and stop that. Okay, Amazon to hire 100,000 people to handle coronavirus-induced online shopping. There's something about the coronavirus that has caused everyone to immediately need infinite amounts of toilet paper or hand sanitizer or soap. I don't know why everyone was out of this at the same time, but there you go. Panic buying has kind of set in. So Amazon is having to keep up with it because if you can't find it in stores, where's the next place to go? Online shopping. They said that Amazon is looking to hire about 100,000 people across the US to keep up with the crush of online orders as the coronavirus spreads and keeps more people at home. They said that the online retailer will temporarily raise pay to $2 an hour through the end by $2, not two, by $2 an hour through the end of April for hourly employees who work at its warehouses, saying that we are seeing significant increase in demand, which means our labor needs to be unprecedented for this time of year. And, at the same time, I think they said it best right there, where for this time of year, they do this every single year for the holiday rush, around November, December, when people start sending gifts and they start, ordering gifts for other people. Shipping increased so much that they have those seasonal workers. And I think Amazon, of all the companies out there, 100,000 people would seem like a logistical nightmare for just about any organization on the planet. But I think Amazon is uniquely suited for bringing 100,000 people into the company and getting them to do the job. And then after this all subsides, kind of letting 100,000 people go. That is, of course, if everyone goes back to their usual routine and online shipping doesn't become, even more popular. But 100,000 people could land themselves a job. Amazon said this weekend that a surge of orders is putting operations under pressure, and they said that, they warned everyone that Amazon's 2-day shipping might not actually be 2 days. It's going to be a little bit worse off. The Seattle-based company said that the openings are for a mix of full-time and part-time jobs, and including roles such as delivery drivers and warehouse workers who pack and ship orders for shoppers. So there you go. Pretty darn cool. So let's see how Amazon handles that. How about we talk? Okay, so just real quick, we have only a couple minutes here left and only a couple stories. Just real quick, Sony will reveal more PlayStation 5 details in a live stream tomorrow. And by the way, we'll have Darius Derek-Shani here on the show, assuming everything goes well. And we'll be talking about the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and more with him, as well as some of the AMD NVIDIA announcements as well. If you want to know anything about hardware or video graphics or anything like that, tomorrow's show is definitely going to be for you. That's Wednesday with Darius Derek-Shani. Samsung and Sony, PlayStation, new announcements tomorrow morning. They'll be the 18th. So keep an eye out for that. Let's talk about, and I have a couple of these stories here. Okay, this one made a lot of headlines yesterday. Not many. I mean, admittedly, no story other than the virus is going to get a lot of headlines. But this happened just a day or two ago. And I felt like I wanted to bring it up because it shows something that China is actually surprisingly well known for. And that is hiding, I don't want to say the ugly side, but I guess they want to hide that people that aren't exclusively attractive, I guess, is the best way to put that, and tiptoe around it. They said that TikTok will stop using China. Well, and actually that's, let's see. And let's see, I think, trying to find, and this is part of the story. It was TikTok. Let's see. So what was happening was they were moderating poor and ugly users from their platform. And actually, here, we found this article from The Guardian that'll have to do for now. And actually, I found the original article. This was published by The Intercept. We'll include it in the show notes. How TikTok told moderators to suppress posts by ugly people and the poor to attract new users. Because as it turns out, that the people who use TikTok are not exclusively rich, beautiful people. Turns out everyone is welcome onto the platform, except if you want the platform to grow, hey, they're going to start banning people who are, either too ugly, poor, or disabled from the platform. and that's according to internal documents obtained by The Intercept. These same documents show moderators were also told to censor political speech in TikTok live streams, punishing those who harmed national honor or broadcast streams about the state organs such as police. Yeah, TikTok has been seen by many as a very Chinese-centric social media platform that could be used for, kind of spying or curtailing free speech, which is the other article that we had saying that TikTok is moving away from Chinese-based moderators to screen foreign content. That does not mean that people within China will not be subject to persecution from within China by China, but at least for, let's say, US TikTok users, China at least wants to give the appearance that they will not be censoring freedom of speech for American users on their platform. Although, hey, who knows? They said that these previously unreported Chinese policy documents, along with conversation with multiple sources directly familiar with the censorship activities, provide new details about the company's efforts to enforce rigid constraints across its 800 million or so monthly users, while it attempts to simultaneously bolster its image as a global paragon of self-expression and anything-goes creativity. Not so much. They also show how TikTok controls content on its platform to achieve rapid growth in the mold of Silicon Valley startup while simultaneously discouraging political dissent of any sort with heavy-handed regulation, seen in its home country of China. So this is actually a very, very long and well-researched article. I highly recommend everyone go out there and check it out. But there are indeed secret guidelines that moderators had to adhere to when it came to content. They said that, just to jump to the end here, they have the community guidelines that act as rules, sprawling documents that give moderators nuts and bolts instructions on what to delete and what to keep, and precariously employed tech company moderators themselves are typically as excluded from the rulemaking process as the users are. And of course, hey, they've received policy updates from on high abruptly and with little rationale to help them with their Sisyphean, obviously Sisyphus, task. And they said that they told The Intercept that moderator staff is a combination of staff employees and contractors, that over the past year we have established trust and safety hubs in California, Dublin, and Singapore, which oversee development and execution of our moderation policies, headed by industry experts and extensive experience in the area. That's where the other article comes in. People in the US, Europe, UK, other parts of the world are not being moderated by Chinese employees. Doesn't make it much better at all. But here we are. Multiple TikTok sources who spoke with The Intercept on the condition of being anonymous. They said that emphasized the primacy of ByteDance's Beijing HQ over the global TikTok operation, explaining that the ever-shifting decision about what's censored and what's boosted are dictated by the Chinese staff, and whose policy declarations are then filtered around TikTok's 12 global offices, translated into rough English, finally settling into a muddle of Beijing authoritarianism crossed with the usual Silicon Valley prudeness. So, TikTok fans must continue to rely on community guideline page to guide their conduct, while the actual rules remain always on the verge of revision, revocation, or disavowal via corporate statement. So, I think that's about the end of it. We're actually running really low on time here, but this is such a huge article, and if you're at all interested about, the true story behind TikTok and what actually happens on the platform, and statements like this saying that moderators were told to suppress users with abnormal body shape, ugly facial looks, too many wrinkles, or in slums or rural fields and dilapidated housing. those were some of the guidelines that the moderators were told to, well, hey, hide. So there you go. I don't think I was the biggest fan of TikTok before this, but after reading this article, probably still am not. So everyone, that's about it for today. The music playing softly in the background means that we are just about done. As I said earlier in the show, tomorrow on the program, Darius Derekshani, the one, the only, Computer America's CGI and really our hardware expert. He's about the only one that we talk hardware with. Tune in tomorrow to hear all about the latest consoles. We're going to be talking about graphics cards, processors, and even more. So everyone, thank you for tuning into the show. Thank you so much. And hey, until next time, have a great one. Be safe out there.